all that. Now, when you say Kali Yuga, the 5000, 5150, all that kind of a
You
thing,
did say that.
where exactly are we trying to pitch this particular traditional date?
Yes.
Now,
No,
there are two specific points which I want to highlight. Suppose you say 1450, this 2000 or 3000, whatever date, the language of the text, which is by and large classical Sanskrit, Bhasha, it's not the Vedic, the Saswara, and the grammar of the text was written in 700. The linguists take a serious objection, telling that language cannot be static for this length of a period. Either you have to postulate there were a plurality of languages and a standard language, something followed in the Vedic, something followed in the society, which means the linguistic environment of India between, let's say, Buddha, Panini, Jain, 700, around that kind of a timeline, to back to whatever date you want to put Mahabharata, that needs to be studied, an area that has not been studied. What we are doing right now with all this interpretation is a post-14th century understanding using that lens and reading Vedanga Jyotisha backwards into the text and then say this is the practicing faith. Maybe this is an issue that needs to be studied.
Yeah, I understand. About your Kali Yuga thing, it has become the standard of working out, doing astronomical calculations in India from 5th, 6th century AD, especially after Aryabhat. All people take that as the basic, like Julian date system in Western astronomy. Kali Yuga is taken, and there is no harm, there is no difficulty, because there you are counting number of days, and perfectly you can continue with that. There is no need to demolish Kali Yuga as being used by 50 to 55 Panchang makers everywhere. Coming to the other one, I am not an expert on linguist, but I treat this whole thing as a means of communication. You assign any language to it. Today you can have any medium of communication. So I doubt whether analyzing the language part would yield any results. We have gone by specific observations, astronomical observations, and they have been communicated down in whatever form, in pictorial form, or today it's TV serials or whatever. But this communication, if you attach linguistic studies to it, I don't know, the astronomical observations will not change.
I will not stretch the time because there's another
We can discuss, yes, yeah, sure.
the language static thing.
Yes, yes.
The linguist and the Indologist will pounce upon the persons and say the language cannot be static.
Sure.
You already gone.
I am saying the same.
You have gone to Sarvishta to Dhanishta yourself.
Yeah, I'm saying the same thing.
Like, they have also gone like that. From Sarvishta to Dhanishta, they have changed. One more thing I can add. In India, the problem is whenever you purely want to go through language, there's a little problem. Everybody recites Gayatri Mantra, right? You read from Vedas, it doesn't have Om Bhurva Swaha. Why? It was purposely left. So every Vedic literature has got something left. It has to be added. That's why it is Shruti. Someone has to tell you that this mantra has to read like from 10th mandala, I will just quote one richa. Saptam Unyanti Ratham Ek Chakram. When decoded properly through a master, it shall lead to the diameter of the earth. Eko Aso Bhat Saptanama, again from Vedas, properly decoded, it says 18.224 miles per second speed of earth. So that way Veda has to be taught properly. It is Shruti. Strictly where language can never go. Someone had to tell you what is left out here and why. Why Namha is left out? It has to added. Why Om is left out here? Why Swaha is left out? So that's a very different, tricky issue. Thank you very much. Great work.
Thank you.
So now I request Aparna Dhir. Please edify us.
Good evening, everyone. My topic of my presentation is, as you can see, astronomy observations of the Mahabharata. There are about 130 plus astronomy researchers. There are about 130 plus researchers who have claimed astronomy as the base of their they are who have actually, sorry, who have taken astronomy as the base to claim the date of Mahabharata war. It is quite surprising for an ordinary person and confusing too that every researcher is coming up with a new set of claims to decide the date of Mahabharata war. It reflects that every researcher is not taking up all the relevant evidence which we have in Mahabharata. To start with, I found that there is one serious problem to it. First of all, there is a widespread of ignorance of scientific methodology, which includes how to select evidence, how to select its testing, how we can go about its testing, and what kind of sequence we should follow in collecting the evidence and its testability. Another thing we have is what kind of approach we have. We should move first approximately right, then it should be precisely accurate. This actually tells us about the approach to study the astronomical observations of Mahabharata. We'll give you an illustration of this and then we will summarize my presentation. Let's start with evidence and testing. Let's suppose we have evidence on this y-axis on which on one hand we have all relevant evidence which is logical and rational. On the other hand, it is all arbitrary, selective, illogical or irrational set of evidence. When we go about its testing, we find that either the evidence is testable because of its scientific nature or it is non-testable because of its metaphysical nature. So in that case, by plotting in such a way, we can see all the 130 plus research efforts in these 4 quadrants. Like first quadrant, I have given the name is preservation of tradition. The second one is dharmic assertion. The third one is tamasic skepticism, and fourth one is superficial and manipulative claims. Now to start with, let's suppose, first of all, we have to look the usage of evidence. That preservation of tradition is using evidence, all evidence or not. So we say that yes, they are very good at usage of all evidence. When we talk about dharmic assertions, they are also very good. When we talk about tamasic skepticism, they are not. And same is with superficial manipulative claims. In case of their testability, when we see the preservation of tradition is not good at testing, they are not at all interested in testing the evidence. Dharmic assertion is good at testing, they are interested. And tamasic skepticism, they are not interested. Superficial manipulative claims, they are interested. So by this way, we can say that dharmic assertion is the most desired quadrant to the which is most appealable to all the researchers, and tamasic skepticism is a wrong approach for all the researchers. Sorry for my throat. So we are left with two quadrants, that is preservation of tradition and the superficial and manipulative claims. To start with preservation of tradition, I have an example of Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute. While preparing a critical edition of Mahabharata, they are not at all interested in testing of the evidence. They just want to document all the evidence which is available, all the set of references which are available in all the multiple editions of Mahabharata. They want to document all. Even if a deviation comes, they won't throw away that reference. They simply document it for our future generations. But when it comes to testing, they are not focused on or interested on knowing the date of Mahabharata or the year of Mahabharata. So they are not good at testing, they are not interested. When we talk about superficial and manipulative claims, they do testing, but on what kind of sources? They test only the selective set of data which they have to fit their own claim. So by that means, I can put all the 130 researchers, astronomical researchers who have done Mahabharata, who have done research on Mahabharata on the basis of astronomy. I see that very few comes in preservation of tradition, very less in dharmic assertion, and majority, 98% of researchers comes into this claim, this set of quadrant. By this I mean, this is all about the testing and the evidence set of data. Now the next point is sequence, how to go about selecting an evidence and how to go about this testing and what kind of problems we face in testing. let's suppose this is y-axis, and we put all our astronomical observations which is available in Mahabharata on the basis of its relevance to determine the date of Mahabharata war. And on the one end it is high, on the other end it is low. So it goes about high to low or low to high. Same with x-axis, we have testability on this, where also falsibility or simplicity and prior improbability, and it also goes high to low or low to high. So in this case, we can put all our astronomical observations in the category, in the sequence of relevance. So first of all, we have AV observation, you all know, Arundhati Vasisht observation from Bhishma Parva chapter. Then we have Bhishma Nirvana, then other same followed by all others like planetary positions, position of and phases of the moon, description of the seasons, eclipses, and comet near Pushya. This is the sequence which one should follow while determining the date of Mahabharata war. Now this is the approach one should always go to proceed for finding the date of Mahabharata. That is, one should always be approximately right first, then only he can be accurate, precisely accurate. Otherwise, if the answer may go wrong, it can lead us to disaster. Let's suppose in India everyone is a cricket fan, so I have taken this example. Let's suppose we have to measure this diameter of this ball according to the standard set by Indian Cricket Board. Let's suppose it is between these numbers. So how can we measure? So our approach how should we move with our approach? We have this scale. This area gives us the approximate, this is the main scale which gives us approximately right answer, and this area gives us the precisely accurate answer. If one is not clear about the approximate value, they cannot be sure through this vernier scale about the precise answer. So we have to first fit our ball into this area to get the approximate right answer, then only we can move with the precisely accurate. Let's have the illustration of this. We have 215 plus astronomical observations of Mahabharata. In Mahabharata, let's suppose we have split these observations on the basis of this main scale and vernier scale in two categories. First is effects due to precession of equinoxes, in which we have all the observations which we find that approximately right. The other set of observations are due to effects due to nearer Earth phenomenon, and in this set we have all those observations which are precisely accurate. So this is our approach to move ahead to tune in our date of Mahabharata. Now let's suppose I have taken this example of Bhishma Nirvana. Here, as I told you earlier, that 130 plus researchers are there, of which I have claimed astronomy as the base. I'm glad just 8 to 10 researchers have taken into note the day of Bhishma Nirvana, and they actually, and what we have total 23 set of observations available in Mahabharata, and out of these 23, I'm surprised they have chosen just these 2 observations to claim the date of Mahabharata and to decide the day of Bhishma Nirvana. And what is the result? And when we have calculated on the basis of all 23 plus Bhishma Nirvana observations, what we have 92 plus days for Bhishma on the bed of arrows. So just I'm about to conclude now. Let's suppose this is a timeline. Here we are today, that is 2017 CE, and going back to Mahabharata era, we have this observation, AV observation. We have just one reference to this, which is the most relevant, as I told you earlier. This observation does not allow us to mark the date of Mahabharata not a single day earlier than 4508, a day later than 4508 BCE, and a day earlier than 11091 BCE. That means we have this particular set of interval which allows us to mark the date of Mahabharat war. We have to eliminate these areas now to calculate our main claim. Now we have another set of observation, that is Bhishma Nirvana, that is 23 observations. These observations, as you know, that these are approximately right approach. The Bhishma Nirvana observation does not allow us to fix our date even a day later than 3700 BCE and a day earlier than 7000 BCE. So again we have this set of interval which allows us to keep the date of Mahabharata between this set of interval. But due to AV observation, we have to left that overlapping area. This particular, we have to left. So our date should be within 7000 BCE and 4508 BCE. In that case, we have another set of observations which are precisely right. So we can eliminate this area also. So in that case, we are left with only 2500 years of set of interval to claim the date of Mahabharat war. By this, now we can approach to another set of observations which are precisely accurate, that is planetary positions. In this, we are moving ahead with another set of observations that are from Saturn and Jupiter. Here, I have taken these planets because they are the slowest moving visible planets. And also their combination, as the sir told just right now, just before me, whatever combination they were at during the Mahabharata era, that combination that cycle reoccur after a gap of 60 years as per our calculation, because Saturn moves at the speed of 30 years, completes its cycle, and Jupiter completes in 12 years. So in that case, we have 60 years. We got that data just now. So when we calculate these 2500 years with that 60, we got 40 such instances that allows us to mark the date of Mahabharat war. Now we have another set of observations from another planet, that is Mars. We have 6 observations in Mahabharat about that. And when we calculate those 40 such instances with these 6 observations of Mars, what we have? We have our claim of date, that is 5561 BCE. So it shows that all these observations take us to this 5561 as the plausible year of Mahabharat war. So do we have to stop here only by marking this date? No, we have to validate our date. So in that case, what I have done, mainly Nilesh Okji, he's the author of this paper. He has taken whatever I have shown you just now on above of this slide. This is 30 plus references, and I told you that there are 215 plus observations in Mahabharata. So we are still left with 180 plus observations of astronomy to validate our claim. So in that case, one should always go with testing, corporation of additional 180 plus astronomy observations that validates our claim of 5561 BCE as the plausible year of Mahabharat war. As a summary, I can say our approach should be approximately right first, then only we can decide our date. AV observation falsify any claims that go beyond 4508 BCE. With Bhishma Nirvana observation falsify any claim that will go after the 3700 BCE, and combination of these two allow us with the timeline that is 7000 BCE to 4508 BCE as a plausible year. So in that case, what timeline and what period I have just mentioned, that is 5561, falsify 98% of the claims. No ifs and no buts. Strive for precision and accuracy. And he has corroborated and testified this claim as per all the astronomical observations. So I encourage you all to set a critic with him, and you can debate with him. This is his books, and it is already available on Kindle and Amazon, and you can discuss your objections and questions with him on his blog and